including my friends, including me a few years ago, as I said, are not aware of this fact, living in occupied territories, and even if they are aware, they would like to forget it, not to think about it.
What Israel did, especially Sharon, that was very smart, Sharon saw that there weren't enough ideological settlers. The religious settlers that really see this as the land of Israel and want to conquer it from the Arabs. There are not that many. And he couldn't get masses of Jews into the occupied territories on an ideological basis. So what he did is he disconnected ideology from settlement. So you have Ma'ale Adumim and Givat Ze'ev and Ariel and Alfei Menashe, a lot of other cities that have nothing to do with settlement or politics. They're normal people living there. They don't even know, half of them, that they're across any kind of a green line, which has been completely eliminated from the Israeli maps.
It's a big problem for me, in my eyes, that the people of Pisgat Ze'ev don't even know when a house is demolished nearby and 10 children are without house, which happened just last year. Most of the people in Pisgat Ze'ev don't know about it, and the few who do know about it, they don't care. I think a lot about the difference of my son and the conditions he lives in, and the kids a few hundred meters nearby. And I even write about it in the neighborhood newspaper. And I would like people to open their eyes and to see these things. It's very hard, the sharp difference, geography and in the mind, between the refugee camp just nearby here and the people who live here, which complain about such stupid things, like the garbage is not moved every day, but only every 2 days or something like this. The government tricked us for buying a house here, as the government tricked so many of Israel citizens.
Okay, I have a possibility to buy an apartment east of Tel Aviv, and that would cost me X amount of dollars. And I have the possibility to buy a much bigger apartment in a smaller community, which would be another 10 kilometers away in the West Bank. And this apartment would cost me half of what this smaller apartment would cost me east of Tel Aviv. What should I do?
If the government offered me some apartment, more or less like this, as I have now, in another place, in Israel, not in the occupied territories, and that would make the peace closer, I will leave tomorrow.
According to the Israeli group Peace Now, the overwhelming majority of settlers, 80% of them, consider themselves to be economic settlers. But the other 20% are ideological, hardcore religious zealots. They are well armed and have no hesitation in using these arms.
These ideological settlers chose to live deep in heavily populated Palestinian areas, especially the settlers down in Hebron, chose to live deep in Palestinian areas because that's where they would break the Palestinians, that's where they would fragment their contiguity, surround them, lock them into islands, and create these pathways between the settlements in Israel proper.
The city of Hebron is now home to the most violent settlers. Hebron is no stranger to violence by the settlers. In 1994, an American-born Jewish doctor entered the Holy Mosque in Hebron and slaughtered 29 Palestinians at prayer.
governments of Israel that allowed them, that put them there in Hebron, in the heart of Hebron. And even after the massacre in '94, in February '94, instead of uprooting them when there was public support in doing this, Yitzhak Rabin got cold feet. He was this hero of the '67 war, was afraid of a civil war, and he regretted his decision to uproot only the 7 families that you see in Tel Rumeida, the Kahanists. And instead of that, what did he do? He put 100,000 people in curfew to make sure that there will not be a revenge. And this was Yitzhak Rabin.
Today, Hebron is a city of 150,000 Palestinians, under siege by 450 religious fanatics with an army to protect them.
איפה הבית שלך? איפה תוספת? זי. יאללה, לך הבית שלך.
In the 1980s, the Hebron settlers decided to venture out of their settlements and move into the city itself. The Palestinian neighborhood of Tel Rumeida was their target. The people of Tel Rumeida endure all kinds of settler violence and harassment, intended to force Palestinians to leave their homes and their land. They are in a constant state of siege, curfews, and checkpoints. According to the United Nations, there are 181 checkpoints in the Hebron area. It's difficult and often dangerous to travel from home to work, to the market, to visit friends and family. The brutality of the settlers and the occupation that comes with them prompted some former Israeli soldiers to break the silence and speak out to their own society and to the world about their experience in Hebron.
We're walking there in streets that only Jews could walk in the streets. The Palestinians couldn't go out of their houses. They were under curfew. And there are certain streets in Hebron that were only for Jews. The street is cleaned from Palestinians. And I remember myself walking in these streets. It was an holiday, a Jewish holiday, and the city was full of thousands of Jews. And we're walking in the middle of a Palestinian city that has 150,000 Palestinians in the city, and all what we see when we're patrolling there is Jews. We didn't see one Palestinian for hours. And I didn't understand what's going on around me. Why everything is closed. Why it looks like a Jewish city. And when I started to talk with the settlers there, so that the answer I got is that this is the way everyone should look.
As you see here, the playground of my kids. As you see, it's a jail, not playground, but we call it playground because my kids, they play here, and because if they go outside, they will be dangerous. They will be attacked by the settlers, and also by soldiers, they don't care. They play here because if they go outside, they will feel afraid because always they're attacked by stones and by glass bottles. They throw it